In this short video, we're going to cover how we prepared horny goat weed, how many times we used it, and the female and male perspective on whether or not it works. Hi everyone, my name's Jack.
My name is Jill.
And this week we're going to be experimenting with a certain type of aphrodisiac called horny goat weed.
It is also known as epimedium and yin yang hao.
And some other really funny names as well.
Yes.
Legend has it, a goat herder noticed his goats engaging in a lot of sexual activity. And after watching them for a while, he noticed that this sexual activity was always preceded by consuming a particular type of herb. And that's the herb I have in my hand right now.
There's a study done in 2008, and in that study they found that there's a compound in horny goat weed that helps to block an enzyme that restricts blood flow to the penis. So this is good because you want as much blood flow going to that area in order to achieve a firm erection. There were also some studies done with mice, and they found that in male mice that horny goat weed helped with increasing testosterone, which helps with desire for sex, and it also reduced cortisol levels, which is that stress hormone. So both those things are going to help with increasing desire and improving erectile function. They also found in female mice that even though it didn't increase the testosterone, it did increase the estrogen. So this is super helpful in women that are experiencing menopause. So there are definitely positives for both sexes, and in present day China, they have been using it as a tonic water for sexual arousal.
So what about negative effects? Are there any negative effects associated with using horny goat weed?
There are some. You definitely don't want to take horny goat weed if you are also taking something like Cialis or Viagra. People with cardiovascular disease, congestive heart failure.
People on immunosuppressant drugs.
Yes, especially people that are cancer that is some sort of like hormonal type of cancer are going to be more sensitive.
Taking horny goat weed with nitroglycerin can be extremely dangerous too, and it may be able to exacerbate some existing heart conditions like arrhythmia.
Yeah, arrhythmia, and also can, in high doses, cause some respiratory effects as well as spasms. So in general, if you have those kind of conditions going on, you can definitely consult with your doctor before consuming any type of horny goat.
Yes, check with your doctor first. We're not doctors, we're just horny people.
We just really want to try this and see if it works.
We, bombarded with dubious science, we want to seek the answers out ourselves.
Yeah, so we're going to try this for
1 week.
1 week, every day.
Every day?
For 1 week. So we're going to go mix it up in our kitchen and show you guys like the product that we bought and how you guys can buy that. We'll put the link down below and give you guys some more information about how we're going to prepare it.
Stay tuned.
All right, cheers.
I'd like to mention that the horny goat weed we were using was not a concentrate, it's just the pure ground up herb. At the beginning of each one of our shows, we gave our guests 1,000 milligrams of horny goat weed in tea. Each person was asked whether or not they felt the effects of horny goat weed during and after the performance.
Get horny.
We're drinking horny goat weed. Horny goat weed experiment number 3.
Goat weed. Yay!
You like
okay?
it? Oh my god.
It's good?
You like it? Can I drink this every day?
You might just be like horny all the time.
Wait,
horny goat weed.
What are we? Yay!
Horny goat
Horny
weed.
goat weed!
Yay!
Yeah.
Horny goat weed experiment.
Yay!
Ooh.
Cheers! Horny goat weed.
That's
Hopefully we get
caffeine.
really horny when we drink this horny goat weed.
Horny goat weed, guys.
It's a little hot, so. Weed tea?
Yes.
Cheers.
So,
Horny goat weed.
cheers.
I like them.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Goat weed?
Yay!
Cheers. Oh, you put sugar in it. You're so sweet.
I put
It's
honey
her
in it,
first
yeah.
time doing it with us, guys. Cheers. Horny goat weed. Day something. I don't know.
I love this drink.
In order to reduce the potential bias of the conclusions that Jill and I have drawn, from our horny goat weed experiences. We're going to talk about them separately. So I think it's really important to talk about the male perspective when using horny goat weeds. There were some positive effects and there were some negative effects. And then there were some not so positive effects. The first thing I noticed when I was using horny goat weed is changes in blood pressure. And these were kind of compounded by things that I did in my normal life. So if you drink, if you smoke, if you take any medication that alters your blood pressure, you're effectively compounding these issues. I think horny goat weed contributed to a bit of a low blood pressure situation for me. Remember when you were a teenager and you would get erections for random reasons or for just the smallest bit of stimulation? That's what I felt like being on horny goat weed was like. I normally never get morning wood, but now all of a sudden I was getting morning wood. Okay, that may not sound like too big of an issue, but for people like me, people that know me, I am an adult performer and I need my manhood to work when I want it to, and I need it to not work when I don't want it to. So why is that an issue? Well, I found that when it came time to actually perform in my scenes that my member was rather fatigued from being erect for no apparent reason overnight, that it became more difficult to achieve a longer erection during times in which I actually needed it. So all that extracurricular erections I was getting were giving me absolutely no benefit whatsoever, and were actually affecting my performance in a negative way when it actually came time to perform. I still very much believe that horny goat weed is a novelty. Effects of it were not strong enough for me to fully conclude that it does or does not help. I'm just kind of telling you what happened after I used it for an entire month straight. I do think horny goat weed's fun to use because it's a novelty. It's something that definitely unlocks the placebo effect, which is a real phenomena in humans. If you're sitting in a group of people and someone looks at you and says, I think this is working, it suddenly is kind of working, right? For everyone. So it's kind of a fun thing to use. It's a fun thing to experiment with. But for guys that are searching for that holy grail, for guys that are searching to solve their erection issues, this is not going to be what ends up helping you. It may actually just mix in an extra layer of chaos into your sex life.
Hi, so I'm going to be talking about my experience with horny goat weed and what I thought about it, some of the positive and negatives to experimenting with this. So there is some research that does show that horny goat weed can help with relaxing the smooth muscle to help increase blood flow to the genital area for increased sensitivity, helping with arousal and achievement of orgasm in both men and women. Honestly, every time that I did take it, I was able to have increased sexual arousal. I enjoyed the experience during the process, but it's so hard to say if it really was the horny goat weed or if it was because of trying something new. And there's a lot of research that talks about trying something new in a relationship can really increase levels of oxytocin, which make us want to cuddle and feel good. And I really feel like a lot of the reason that I felt that horny goat weed was working was really because I was trying something new. The same with the female guests that we had on. A lot of the guests were saying, yes, I really do think it's working. I feel very aroused, but all of us were using vibrators. We were in a sexual setting with a lot of different stimulus. So it's really hard to say for sure, but I do think that there is something to be said about trying something new together in a safe environment. One of the major negatives of horny goat weed is the side effect of low blood pressure. And all of us, a particular guest and Jack and myself had the horny goat weed, and we took it before the show had started, and once the show had concluded, we went into the hot tub. We failed to drink fluids and eat some food after taking the Horny Goat Weed, and we went right into the hot tub. And after exiting the hot tub, when we weren't even in the hot tub that long, it made all of us extremely dizzy. Dizzy to the point where I had to lay down for at least 10 minutes and elevate my legs and drink some water to increase my blood pressure. So I actually found that to be extremely dangerous. I do think it was the combination of taking the Horny Goat Weed, not eating food, not drinking fluids, and then entering a really hot environment. I think the combination of all of those things really led to the Horny Goat Weed not really being safe to use. But I do think that if you use it in moderation, you make sure that you are drinking fluids and eating food, and you don't have any pre-existing conditions like cardiovascular disease, heart arrhythmia, or low blood pressure, then I do think it is safe to take in moderation and is worth giving a try with your partner. With that being said, don't overdo it. But I do think there is something to be said about trying something new together, and sometimes just the newness of something can increase arousal and excitement, and I think that that's really my take home from trying Horny Goat Weed.
It's not exactly clear that the benefits of taking Horny Goat Weed outweigh the negative side effects. See you guys next time.